So we will be looking at this Faze defense as it sets up here, and Shadowburn on his signature Genji. Louis going to be holding back in the 76. And it's going to be up to Fact and Fiction and Spree to move in and be the front line that creates the space for Faze. And next, what are we taking a look at the FNRGFE squad?
Yeah, you got it. Buds can definitely play the Widow. They've got some players who can play a Widow. Clockwork, I think his best player, or his best hero is Tracer, but he's playing a lot of 76 lately. So it's going to be interesting to me, actually. I want to see what Enigma ends up playing. I think that in this meta right now, you do need a diva in certain moments, especially on this map. But Enigma, people sometimes forget, a top-tier hit scan player too. That FNRGFE can literally run anything with this roster they have right now.
Enigma certainly was in the shadows for a long time in terms of how people valued him, and I'm excited to see how he does here again against a team like Faze. So we'll see how it works. And Faze certainly being more aggressive with their defense, not giving up too much as we look at Buds. Buds looking for early pickoffs on the Widowmaker. Just one could change the tide of the game, but has to deal with the Shadowburn pressuring him in the back, and that's going to limit just how much he can put in. But Shadowburn under fire, and Buds can punish him right here. Does not connect, however.
Yeah, he was in trouble. That deflect went down way too early, only at half health. They end up Duke getting a kill onto Raucus, though, which is actually going to take a lot of pressure off of Buds, who's going to be able to do damage from a distance. Another headshot from the supports. They've gotten 3 kills, while 2.5 as a mech goes down. And despite all the great DPS players on this FNRG team, the supports just rock some kills.
Well, here's the thing, is that Shadowburn, his entire contribution was focused on getting Buds. Even though he got away with his life in the beginning, he wasn't getting anything done. Meanwhile, Enigma's just going in the back and going, oh, I actually have loads of room to work here. Picks up many a kill, has a pulse bomb up for this next fight, and he was looking for something up top. Doesn't quite make the dash over. But FNRGFE in a pretty good spot here, depending on how they want to play this.
Yeah, Enigma's looking for those supports, and he knows where those darts are coming from. He was trying to get to that ledge over there, just decided to fall back and think better of it. They do take down Muma, and in this triple DPS kind of thing, when you lose your tank like that, it's very difficult to start engaging, which is why you see FNRGFE back off now. We need to find a better name for them. Someone, please help me. They have the best logo in the tournament right now, but the names...
Well, game or not, it's Enigma who's starting to pull this back. Was able to find Louis in the backline, D-Mech Spree, and he's unchained right now. No one is really looking at Enigma as he makes the payload his own domain. The rest of FNRGFE able to start rotating in, and it's looking very good for them to take second. There is a bit of delay coming out here from Fact or Fiction, but this could be a bit of a trap where if Faze comes in and gets wiped, this turns very bad for them on second. They use the sound barrier to engage, but they've yet to convert anything off it. Multiple members low as Enigma still going off the back. Shadowburn, though, could be the equalizer. The Dragon Blade is out and finds Banny towards the back, but that's going to be it.
Yeah, gets the blade out, and they have lost a couple here on the offense trying to get in. So it's a nice defense. They had to use all the ultimates, though. The Visor went in the back line, wasn't able to get it down. But even on the cleanup late into this, they will pick up a couple of kills as the defense will stabilize. Interesting to see where Louis wants to go. Soldiers up at Glass is kind of the standard, but he was on the low ground there, too. So defense has the ability to set up wherever they want. You'd imagine it'd be as standard as Gibraltar gets.
Faze gambled hard on going back into that because it would have been disastrous if they lost, and frankly FNRGFE had better position to win that. But because Faze won, now they could look at a first point hold here. Only a minute is left, and here comes FNRG moving in. Louis goes down immediately to engage from Muma, and now you see FNRGFE going in, and look, they're pushing the payload. No one's on the payload. It doesn't quite get it yet. It's contested at the last moment. That was almost snuck. But while that goes on, Buds dashing back and forth, gets the kills he needs to, and that will be FNRGFE taking the boost back.
I don't know what sort of voodoo Muma was able to pull off there. He dove solo into Louis and was able to get that kill. It was 1v4 up there, and he dove in solo, got the kill, must have landed on him with the Mario boot. And then just the cleanup on the ground, absolutely there. Not enough horses left there to fight. And that's the cleanup there. Now momentum, again, hugely important. They're already fighting towards the back of this point.
Buds, Dragon Blade loaded, under pressure from Winston, not quite finding what he needs to here, but look at Spree in the back. He gets D-Mech, the rest of FNRGFE moving in, and they're slowly punishing Faze as Faze dives in rather unsuccessfully. They've lost 4 straight here, and that is going to be the gates opening wide for FNRGFE. And if FaZe goes to challenge this here, Hex, again, it's highly dangerous. They're going into a much more highly loaded team, and they could give up tons of ground here if they're not careful.
And they've trickled. It's been trickling for the last 5 minutes or so, where they just losing players one by one. They will end up boosting their Winston as Buds gets to the back line. You mentioned to me that Buds has really been working on his projectile, and that Genji comes to bear.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, he was playing it with the Fnatic guys up until just a few days ago, so he's worked on it in the hyperbolic time chamber as FNRGFE takes the fight with ease. You saw Buds decimating the backline, and FaZe streams into their death. They get a bit of delay, but they also build up the ultimates of FNRGFE in the process.
Well, stream suggests some sense of cohesion. They're just trickling into this point and getting nothing done for it. They've been dying at 5-second intervals, every single one of them. This roster does not look like they're working well together. Maybe they need a little bit of time, but the calls don't seem to be there from what we're seeing on the field and the manner in which FaZe is dying.
Well, FaZe right now is getting snowballed on very heavily. Buds going down, though, will give them a bit of space to reset here. They might not be able to get quite the high ground positioning they want immediately, but they have tools. They have Tac Visor, they have Sound Bearer, and we see Spree. Just lobs the D.Va self-destruct in to very little effect, and the counter engage coming in deep. Louis, too far out, ends up paying the price, and FaZe forced to drop Sound Barrier just to stay alive in this fight, and that might not work out for them here, Hex. We'll see.
They forced the Transcend, and then they decided, well, we have this Transcend, and I think we're going to be able to get some damage. Still really back and forth, though. Shadowburn's Tracer's been surprisingly good. He struggled on that hero a few times, but just apparently put some time in on it. An odd Sound Barrier as the offense looks to re-engage.
The offense sensing blood in the water. They blow the barrier, but there's the pulse bomb. Shadowburn bringing it right back, equalizing out the advantage that FNRGFE was looking to obtain. And you just can see FaZe as they dominantly push FNRGFE off the payload.
Yeah, both support ults now used for that team as well, so the next initiation may be a little bit difficult, but here comes a Sound Barrier. Oh, never mind. That's the replay. Clockwork and Buds both have ults here, so huge impactful DPS ults, but they lost Enigma, who was going for a pulse, but Rock is cleaning house.
Sometimes Zenyatta's get that bloodlust, and it's difficult to contain.
No one has just tempered Zenyatta today. Shadowburn will finally get the kill onto him.
Shadowburn, no chill whatsoever. He really wanted Point dead there for what ends up being a pretty good stagger. They're gonna have to wait longer for him to come back, and now you look at the overall time, only 1:13 left for FNRGFE to push this out.
It's time for a Transcendence combo, you'd have to believe, as Bonnie is there with it. Enigma still has that Pulse Bomb as he got domed last time on the entry in, but a Transcendence into a Dragon Blade maybe, something like that to try to finish off this push?
We'll have to see. FNRGFE certainly has many resources to push us in. They've positioned themselves well to make most of this team fight. But again, they need to use their support ults before people get picked off. They almost lose Blink immediately. And here comes FaZe. Sound Bearer is out, going to be matched by the Transcendence on FNRGFE. The Blade out from Buds. Gets one early on. The self-destruct making space, and it's one kill advantage from FNRGFE, but is equalized by Shadowburn. So 5 versus 5 as they are almost all in on this final fight.
Well, some Zenyatta on Zenyatta crime as Bonnie gets the better end of that one. Red arrow denoting the headshot. Of course, Raucus now out of the mix. Louis comes back. He has Tac Visor in his pocket. Is going to take out his counter number in Clockwork. So back and forth, but defense stabilizing here off of the back of that Visor. A triple kill for Louis.
FaZe is going to push this right out. FNRGFE, they backed out with the hope of coming back in for a miracle push, but this is going to be difficult. Maybe Clockwork lands the Tac Visor miracle with the Primal Rage distraction, but easier said than done, where they have to throw their bodies on the payload now. Pulse Bomb's going to connect. Doesn't quite demech D.Va here just yet. FaZe in a great position here at the moment. They have Sound Barrier in reserve, and they immediately drop the beat. Joe Meister wastes no time, but it's Enigma opening things up in the back, demeching, and FNRGFE, despite the rough circumstances, making a go of it. Still, even though it's Factor Fiction, pulls it right back for FaZe.
It's been such a banner day for Winston's here. Their Transcendence will come on late to try to keep them alive, stall on the card, but reinforcements and spawns much closer. It was actually really beautiful execution from FNRGFE there, just unable to pull it out. They're still going to try to contest this card, but it seems like it will stop right there. What they did was beautiful, and it was Enigma and Clockwork working together. Of course, old friends, have played together for a long time in games. They pulse bombed the D.Va, got her out of the mech. The moment that mech was gone, Visor came down, Clockwork started cleaning up. So really well coordinated and nice set play there from FNRGFE.
Should I be worried that we're saying FNRGFE decently well at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of nonsense numbers and letters, I guess.
Is this the type of thing we want burned into our brain? I'm not convinced.
Here's the thing is, I know that in my next family gathering, when I'm losing at Scrabble, inevitably, I'm going to put that on the board, and I'm going to defend it as though it's a word.
Well, if I...
And they're going to say, use it in a sentence.
If I'm at your family gathering for some reason, Hex, I will try to be Scrabble judge and rig it in your favor and go, no, look at this VOD. It happened.
It did happen. So... it has its use, is what I'm saying, is that when I have a garbage Scrabble hand, which, you know, just most of the time, because I'm terrible at that game, and I'll just bust out FNRGFE.
Well, taking a look at Gibraltar as we roll into our second round, of course, sides will be swapping off. It's going to be Faze on the attack this time, and FNRGFE looking to hold Faze back from completing the map, where, of course, FNRGFE almost brought to completion, but not quite. So if Faze is able to punch this one in all the way in, they will take the first map.
Well, the offense could be interesting, and, you know, at this point, it would not really surprise me to see this Bastion play, because Raucus is on the Orisa as well. It looks like they're going to change off of it, unfortunately. I do miss me the El Presidente, and yeah, that's my go-to move, man. I think it's a good dance. So it's the twist.
In Winston's defense, he is wearing a lot of armor. Maybe it just limits his mobility. Let's not judge too much.
It's a good dance. It's my go-to. All right. We have a Widow on the field, and on the offense, just to open things up, that's going to be Louis on that Widow, looking for a little bit here, and making sure that the offense is not playing super aggressive, but considering Rogue is not here, they're not going to be in that first hallway.
No, and the defensive FNRGFE is giving this quite a bit of respect. They probably expected the Widow coming in early on, but it is dangerous. You have to change the sightlines. But look at that. Clockwork out of nowhere says, hello, Louis. Goodbye, Louis.
Once you're discorded as Widow, you should just leave or go to your team. They know exactly where you are. There's no surprise, and you already have a low health pool, so a very nice cleanup there as Enigma coordinates, or that was Clockwork actually, coordinates with his team and takes them down. Enigma is on the D.Va of all things too. We mentioned he's a very good D.Va player.
Faze right now just trying to ground and pound this out with heavy tank play on the payload, and it's kind of working. They're pushing FNRGFE back, and finally Muma falls to the sustained assault and poke damage, and there's an opportunity here. Faze piling on. They win this early assault, and now they can ride this all the way to the first point just about.
Getting the reset, Shadowburn decides he does not want to chase down that kill. Got discorded, that's enough to bully him away, so Boink will remain alive. Boink brought us one of the best team names ever in history. We'll bring that up later. Clockwork has a bomb ready here, so he can stop this push, and they might even nano-visor here, but it's going to be hard to get out. There's great positioning on the offense already up top.
Faze has all the cards in their favor right now. This would be a disaster if they ended up losing this, and it probably would because of the Pulse Bomb that happened. That said, the Pulse Bomb does not get an early kill, but Shadowburn, too aggressive. Killed in the backline by a nano-visored Buds, and that changes the complexion of this entirely.
It was odd because they were being so patient. They had the tanks in great position up top to deny the high ground to the soldier that would have the nano visor, and then Shadowburn just goes in, still back and forth though as the fight continues for the cart. A couple of tanks alive, gonna at least stall this out, and losing anything for the offense gonna be hard to reinforce.
Louis still being a pest here in the backline. No one's on him. He can still do serious damage, although, yeah that's gonna end. Oh no, he got slapped! Winston taking a nap in the back. That's a nice sleep dart to open that up from Raucus, and look at the front! They're able to push it right through as Winston naps in the back!
Joe Meister is gonna Joe Meist. That is how he works around the card, gets all those kills, a deceptively dangerous Lucio player, and now Louis with free reign grabs a couple of kills on the Widow. I mean, the composition they're running is just any hero can go off at a specific time and snowball.
No. Even Gill's getting in on the action there. Louis delivering a bullet to his own forehead, courtesy of Buds' blade.
Head on, fly directly to the forehead.
Not
really
great
nice
idea for Widow bullets.
No, Buds is going to go down eventually to Spree, but Buds' Genji has been good, and I think you have to have someone who can run a Genji in this meta. They get a couple quick kills too as FaZe continues.
Yeah, FaZe is bringing this right back. It doesn't even matter that Louis dead. They're just like, all right, we're still going to dive back in and turn this fight to our favor. They pick up 3, and FNRGFE, despite what could have been a great boon, is getting mauled on the payload right now, which means that, again, you look at FaZe. Shadowburn, Dragon Blade up, Nano Boost up here from Raucus. So many tools to just crush FNRGFE as they try and stall on second.
Yeah, so we got their replay of the Genji right there, and then there comes the Nano Blade actually coming out now, trying to clean this up. Shadowburn gets really deep, finds his other part, and Buds towards the back line, so Buds now out of this fight. Shadowburn at low health, but all the kills still going in favor of FaZe Clan.
FaZe is just mopping up right now. FNRGFE, they didn't have a lot to go back in here. They're getting more off the stall than they probably rightly should, given the crazy advantage FaZe had going into this. Here comes the sound bear. FNRGFE. If they bring this back, this would be rather big. FaZe, though, they're doubling down. The sound barrier comes in from them. They would really like to take Hanger right here and right now, and with Fact or Fiction piling on, it is looking like that will be the case.
A much later barrier means a strong advantage for FaZe towards the end of that fight. They will throw in a beautiful mile-away sleep dart.
I'm not sure it matters that much, though, when you have to pull the D.Va off the point to begin with. It's one of the last people there, so I do like it in theory. The problem is that this is phenomenal delay coming out here from FNRGFE. They're just staying on the payload, and this is very much worth here, even if they end up losing this fight, which is still likely. They're just coming in from all directions. This is incredibly annoying if you're FaZe, especially for how they start this fight.
It's a super delay. They will finally get the point, but it's the rogue school of thought, where not an inch for free. If we have someone alive and they can stop the cart from moving, we will do it. They almost pulled it back there with that barrier early on in that fight, so they've drained a lot of this clock.
Certainly, although have they drained enough? 3 minutes still remaining here for the side of FaZe. So FaZe has plenty of room to work with here, and they only have to bring the payload not even to the end, but basically to the end to win. So FNRGFE is still in a rough spot. They have a Dragon Blade in reserve here, but Buds is getting mauled. Not in a safe position, the Dragon Blade. The poke damage is huge, and Louis piles on. 3 kills here from Louis off the Nano Visor, and this is going from bad to worse here for FNRGFE. The payload almost at its final destination.
Does not let Muma escape from that, and this is where you want to be as Soldier 76. If you could build a condo up there, you would, and try to get him off the point as the blade comes out.
The blade does come out, Buds not able to bring his blade out in time, and, well, things happen like that sometimes, as FaZe will be taking the first map over FNRGFE.
It's really becoming second nature to just say that bunch of letters in a row.
I'm gonna be saying in my sleep tonight.
It's like, it's a word that you can't even kind of make into a word. You can't even say that out loud. You have to say the letters. No surprise here as Shadowburn on the Genji, the Shadow Genji, the Shadow Blades. He got some nice resets here and then just was able to clean up the rest of it. Oh, an interesting play of the game. I think Joe got a little shafted here. Joe had a 3K during that.
Yeah, well,
no love for
Lucios don't usually get a whole lot of love from the algorithm unless they're throwing people off cliffs majestically.
Well, obviously he was just stealing kills anyway. He wasn't really contributing. No, but no matter what, I mean, Shadowburn obviously, whether or not that was the play of the game, he did a great job that game. Had some Genji moments as he is wont to do, but he also showed his prowess on Tracer. So how important is it for him to have these multiple threats?
Well, it's good to have multiple threats. That much is proven. I'm not sure I'm 100% sold on Shadowburn's Tracer being up to the level of other Tracers that we have seen. It didn't lose them the game. I mean, clearly they were still able to win, but I wasn't sitting here in awe of what Shadowburn was doing on Tracer either. I certainly need to see more.
You need to see more. In the very few moments that we had of his first-person view, he was emptying full clips into heads, but it was against a Winston. So, I mean, it's like that's a giant head to be able to hitbox. But it's really important. Tracer's one of the strongest heroes in the game right now. You have to be able to run a Tracer, especially if you want to have any hope on control maps where she can absolutely run wild. So I think Shadowburn will find it, but we do need to see a little bit more. And if they really need to, they could always just put Louis on Tracer.
And that is the thing. Talking about team flexibility, he can flex off of that. And of course, they had him on the 76 on the Widow. So, reasons for Shadowburn to have that. But he does need to show himself as a multiple threat
I don't know.
person because
but he can just play Genji every time. Like, there's times when he's off Genji that I'm like, why wouldn't he just continue to play it? Genji's not really out of the meta. It's hard to, like, super hard counter him. So I'm always a little suspect when Shadowburn's not on Genji, but I understand the need to play Tracer.
Well, the other thing, too, is that, yes, it's nice when people are versatile, but we also see plenty of success in Overwatch from people that are so-called one-tricks, where they play one hero, but they play it so well that it doesn't really matter. So I'm not convinced right now with the multitude of situations you play Genji that Shadowburn needs a whole